Okay, hello, welcome back to our 30 days challenge with Python, where for every day, Monday to Friday, for 6 weeks, you get a coding challenge to help improve your coding skills, your Python problem solving skills. So right here, we have a challenge to find the validity of a date. So how do you find the validity of a date in Python? So here now, you have a program to check if a date is given in this format is valid. So input consists of a date in this format, which is the day, the month, and the year, like that. So if you enter a date like this, you print out this date is valid. But if you enter a date like this, you print out this date is valid. And otherwise, now let me just say, so now if I just go ahead and add like attribute 3 right here, attribute 3, and right here, if I enter a date like, okay, if I enter a date like this is not a valid date. So this is not a valid date. So go ahead and pause this. Go ahead and pause it and try to work on this program. And let's see how far you can go and how you're able to solve it and compare to how I'm able to provide a solution. So pause this video and do that. And now I'll dive into my solution. So now, first thing we need to do here is to say, okay, we are collecting a date string. A date now, I'll just go ahead and say input directly, and I want to enter date in. Okay, I want to just go ahead and say enter date in, okay, in this format. And I want to specify for the user dd, which is day, month, then year. So I'm expecting a date now from the user in this format. So now I want to go ahead and say, so here we'll be using try block error, which what this helps us to do is error handling when we are working with our program. So if there is an error, we want to be able to handle this and display another output. Just like when you're logging in on Facebook, if you enter an incorrect password, the server does not crash, it does not crash, or your phone does not crash and doesn't hit on 4 for error. This error was quite handled that it returned a message out to you. And for this, you're going to be using a module, which is a library called datetime. So right here, we're going to be using datetime. So I'm just going to go ahead and say from datetime import datetime. So this is an inbuilt Python library that helps us to handle datetime. And what I'm going to be doing here is using datetime to strip and try pasting this input into the format to know if this datetime module recognizes as a time. Then if it fails, it means it is invalid. So it's going to fail at some point. So that's why I'm using this try block error to catch it. So right here, I want to go ahead and say datetime now dot strip time, and I want to give it this date. And after I give it this date, I want to give it the format I am stripping this type into in string format, and it's just going to be percentage date, then the month, then I want it to be the year. But note that this now is a capital Y. So I'm stripping it to this format now, right here. Then if this is successful, I want to go ahead and print the date you enter is a valid date. Right, so I'll just go ahead and say date right here. Okay, my health should be outside the quotation. Okay, is a valid date. And now what of the other side now? So except, so if I have an exception, except value error right here. So if you're returning an exception, that's like if it catch an error, and this type of error is a value error, which means the value we enter cannot be pasted into this kind of format that I've given it. So here now we can see that PyCharm has even given us that this is a format for the date we want to use. If I have an exception, I want to go ahead and print out is, okay, invalid. So right here, I'll just go ahead and maximize this our window so we can check this out. So now I'm asked to enter a date. So if I should say 16, then 05, okay, 05, then 1980. This is a valid date, right? It makes it quite alright. But what if I say something like 45, 34? This is an invalid date. Why? So let's try that again. Because you know that's okay, 45, okay, 05 and 2020. This is an invalid date because no day of the month is up to 45 days in the month, right? So we were expecting that. But what if I say something like, okay, 03, and now for my months, I have a 13th month, 2025. This is also an invalid date. So you can see this worked quite alright. So this is try block error, catching this exception with Python. And this is an example of how you catch an exception with Python. You're using date and time module in Python. Alright, so that will be all for today. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my YouTube video for more videos like this. See you in the next video. Bye bye.